come across a herd of about 8 pigs on the beach, feeding through these rocks here, crabs and mussels and whatnot, as we were unsuccessfully fishing one of the creeks. Sort of herded them up, a big cross-country run along the beach, cut one from the herd, one of the smaller sows, caught it with our hands, and it's going to be dinner tonight. Check it out, and we are feeling quite parched. And Albert's scurried his way up the tree to grab a couple of God's nuts. It's only about half a dozen trees within a few k's of us, but I tell you what, they're well needed. Go out for a mission from camp, you need to be producing something. You need to come back with something. You use an energy when you're on these trips. When you use energy, you got to make sure that it's either getting you somewhere or getting you something to fuel your body. Hopefully the other boys have got some fish, and we'll carry some God's nuts back to the camp. Cheers, boys. Cheers. Thanks, Albert. Thanks, mate. Yeah? Yeah, really good. Gator out of the jungle. We just had an experience and a half. Come across a herd of about 8 pigs on the beach, feeding through these rocks here. Crabs and mussels and whatnot, as we were unsuccessfully fishing one of the creeks. And Rossi and I sort of herded them up, a big cross-country run along the beach, and it's going to be dinner tonight. What proceeded to happen next truly was, for me, one of the most memorable experiences on the entire expedition, with Albert holding his compact camera, Rossi and I crawled down along the sand, up against some mangrove vegetation that was just high enough for us to hide behind. Fortunately, we were downwind of them, so the pigs, with incredible smell, couldn't get a whiff of us. And we waited, using hand signals, to the opportune moment to launch and run out and try and cut one from the herd. There were pigs running everywhere, big ones, small ones, out along the rocks, back towards the scrub, out on the flats. All hell broke loose. I'd also like to point out that we were granted permission to hunt on country from traditional Aboriginal owners, and that pigs in Australia are an introduced feral species and pose a devastating impact to the wildlife of Australia, both flora and fauna. They're highly reproductive, and we're very much doing nature a favour in taking this life, and also ourselves, as we, by this point, were very hungry. So with a combination of adrenaline, excitement and gratitude for this pig, we got back to camp to process it up into a meal. It's incredibly rewarding to have an experience such as we just did this afternoon. Now we've got it hung up in the tree in the shade here. a couple hundred meters from the beach. You can hear the waves crashing. And we're just cutting that up now. We're skinning it, just checking the internal organs, making sure it's going to be healthy, clean, which it should be. We anticipate it's probably going to only be 3 or 4 months old, so very young, hasn't been through a dry season. But we'll check the meat thoroughly and we'll cook it thoroughly. Got fresh butchered beach pig. We've got some damper that's been kneaded and made up. And Gunsy's done the fire of the century. Game plan is Rossi's cutting the pig and the frame up into smaller pieces. We're going to take all the meat off. Got a pot here. I've dug in the bottom of the tucker box coconut milk powder. There really isn't enough coconuts on this particular beach, so we're digging into the emergency rations. I've got some Thai red curry paste, so we're going to do up a Thai red curry wild sow on the fire. We'll cook it for a few hours, so we're going to get that going now. So mate, I'm going to throw this whole Thai red curry in, a bit of olive oil. I'll put some of that garlic powder in, chop an onion, can put the spuds in a bit. This is going to taste so good. Ribs, soy sauce. I don't know how you've been carrying that around the kayak, mate. Well done. For the last 2 weeks.
That's a bottle of soy sauce dehydrated.
What?
Yeah. Down an oven.
Well done.
Yeah. Worth the effort.
Couple of weeks in at sea and it just seems to be getting better and better. No doubt it's coming with a large variety of challenges, a lot of which are far too difficult and in the moment to be able to film and share. Definitely makes it all worthwhile when you're sitting here at the end of the day. Caught fish in the morning, had an amazing meal, laid low under the shade through the afternoon and gone out exploring just on sunset and running around the beach catching wild pigs. There's so much more to come. And I just wanted to take the opportunity now as I'm sitting here watching the last of the sunset, the last of the day. I just wanted to say really appreciate the support with Back to Basics thus far. We really appreciate you coming along for the journey, the words of encouragement and getting around what we do. Seeing you guys, seeing others out there living it, getting after it, getting back to basics in whatever capacity that they can. We all live complex lives, there's a lot going on, but we've always found that spending time in nature, getting immersed, getting connected with it really does wonders for the head and for the heart. It's a bit of a reset. But for now, I'm gonna go cook up a good feed, pour myself something warm, maybe a bit of rum. I'm gonna boil a billy and put some rum in it. That's what's happening. There's no cold beers out here, that's for sure. Chilied pork ribs, slow cooked over the coals. We're gonna do the meat. We're gonna Thai red curry into that. Rice is cooked. I'd say this isn't far off, guys. That's been cooking for a good while now at a high heat. And the flavour is sensational. Get into it, team. It's a lot more tender than I thought it would.